Good afternoon, everyone. To those of you who have attended the previous webinars, welcome back, and I trust that you are finding the information provided to be helpful. For newcomers, welcome, and thank you all for joining us for this webinar, which is run by the Leap Practice Management Advisors team. This webinar's aim is to review best practices in trust management from within Leap. My name is Christian Desai, and I'm a PMA team leader here at Leap. In today's webinar, we will be covering information about best practices in trust management using Leap. We will begin with an overview of Leap bookkeeping essentials, such as recording payments, reversing trust transactions, creating new bank deposits, and searching trust transactions. Then we will cover how to complete a trust reconciliation in Leap and outline which reports we believe are the most useful for trust accounting needs. As with all of our educational webinars, this session will run for approximately 20 minutes and will be conducted in listen-only mode. You will be able to listen only via computer audio. Phone audio is not available for this webinar. Feel free to type any questions into the GoToWebinar question feature throughout the duration of today's session. Any questions not answered during the webinar will be addressed directly with you via email. Please note that all our webinars are recorded and will be available to you on the Leap Help Center page. As a reminder, you can click on the blue question mark in the top right corner of any Leap window to go to the Leap Help Center. If you haven't yet visited the Leap Help Center website, be sure to check it out. We have various articles to assist you with Leap's tools and features. Please note that we have additional webinars available on the Leap Help Center site. However, if you require more advanced or additional training, please contact the Leap PMA team directly via pma@leap.us. We are here to help. Today, we will be reviewing how to perform necessary steps in Leap to complete a trust reconciliation, which includes how to record trust payments in the Leap Trust tab, how to reverse payments recorded in the Leap Trust tab, how to complete a trust bank deposit, and how to search trust transactions in Leap. Then we will review how to complete a trust reconciliation in Leap and the critical trust reconciliation reports. Finally, we will answer a few questions submitted by our attendees. We will begin by walking through recording a retainer or payment received into the Trust IOLTA or IOLA or escrow account. To begin, you will first open the matter and navigate to the Trust Funds tab. Select Receive Payment. The bank account is already set as the default trust account in Leap. If you need to choose a different account, select the square icon next to the field and select the correct account. The Received From field defaults to the card set as the debtor for accounting. If this is not from whom the payment was received, select the correct card by selecting the square icon and replacing it. Next, select the payment type. If the payment type is in the form of a check or cash payment, you will be required to enter in the additional details. The reference number defaults to the next number in line, but you can uncheck auto and fill in your own reference number if you would like. The transaction date and entry date default to today's date. We recommend changing the transaction date to the actual date that the payment was received. Next, click into the matter number box to populate the matter number and type in the reason and the amount. If the payment type was a cash or check payment and you have deposited it to the bank that day, select the drop-down next to Save and Close and select Save and New Bank Deposit to tell Leap that you have already deposited it. If you have not already deposited it, or if it is a different type of payment such as a wire, simply select Save and Close. You will be able to deposit it from the main menu New Bank Deposit screen later. For all other payment types, select Save and Close. How to reverse payments recorded in Leap. Review the reversal information to ensure accurate record keeping of the reversal, with close attention paid to the transaction's date and reason. The transaction date will always default to the current date. At Leap, we recommend matching the date of the reversal to the date of the original transaction to avoid potential complications or confusion in reporting. Here, I will backdate the transaction date to October 5th, as this was the date of the original transaction. Once all necessary fields of the reversal window have been completed, select Save and Close. Once the reversal has been completed, you have the option to print and/or email the reversal records by opening the reversal and selecting on either the email icon or the printer icon up at the top left. The bottom left will also give you details on the reversal. It will tell you the date, time, and the user that completed the reversal. How to complete a trust bank deposit. You will need to create a trust account bank deposit after the creation of any trust account payment received, which has a payment type of either cash or check. Additionally, in order to begin the trust reconciliation process in LEAP, the completion of bank deposits is required. To create a new trust bank deposit, you will navigate to the LEAP menu, go down to the Accounting tab, and select New Bank Deposit under Trust Accounting. The default trust account is used here. If you want to use a different account, click on the icon to the right of the bank account field and select the desired trust account from the list, then click Select. Next, enter a memo if needed. You may also uncheck Auto and enter in a deposit number if required. If you do not uncheck Auto, you will use the next automatic sequential numbering system. The transaction date defaults to today's date. Be sure to enter the date the payment was actually deposited to the bank. Select the transaction you wish to bank deposit. We recommend bank depositing one transaction at a time, especially if you are integrating with QuickBooks Online or Xero. Then select Save and Close. Once you select Save and Close, the new bank deposit will open on a separate screen. You may print this out for your records if necessary. In this section, we will walk through how to search for trust transactions in LEAP. The easiest way to search for transactions recorded in LEAP is through the bulk search transaction window. This can be accessed by going to the main menu, going down to Accounting on the left side, and selecting Search Transactions on the right side under General. At the top left of the window, you can search by transactions by the reference number, the payment number, or the transaction type. You also have the option to search by a specific date range. Before you select Search, select a trust transaction type on the left side, or select All Trust Transactions if you would like to view all. Next, select Search. If the search shows up within multiple trust transaction types, there will be multiple drop-downs. You will select the dropdown, and from there, you can open the transaction to view additional details. My search here, 199A, only resulted in one transaction type, trust payments received. If I select the dropdown on the left side, I have one item listed below. I can double-click to view additional details. I can also right-click to open up the matter. Once you have viewed all details, you can save and close. What is a trust reconciliation? A trust bank reconciliation is the process of matching the trust payments paid and trust payments received posted in the cash reports in LEAP with the actual payments paid and received and banked in your bank account. Any trust transaction from LEAP that does not appear on the bank statement is outstanding, and any transaction on the bank statement that is not in LEAP is unprocessed. If the trust transactions are up to date and processed, then the balance from the bank statement plus the outstanding deposits less unpresented payments should equal the closing cash report balance in LEAP. If every trust transaction processed through the cash reports appears on the bank statement for the correct amount and with the correct check number, then the account is ready to be reconciled for the month. We will next discuss how to complete a trust reconciliation in LEAP and what to do if there are missing transactions in either the bank or the LEAP transactions list. How to complete a trust reconciliation in LEAP. To access the trust reconciliation feature in LEAP, click the LEAP menu up at the top left, select Accounting, and select Reconcile Account under the Trust Accounting tab on the right side. The bank reconciliation window will open in your default internet browser. There are 3 sections to be completed in the Reconcile Trust Account window. The first section is the banking section on the top right. In this section, enter the bank statement close date as the statement date and enter the bank statement ending balance as the statement balance. The second section is the transaction section. This is the main area of the window, and all transactions processed in LEAP through the trust cash reports will need to be checked off when ready to be matched. Transactions here are checked off if the exact transaction and amount appear on the bank statement. Using the Trust Bank Statement, compare and match the transactions listed on the bank reconciliation window by clicking on or checking the line of the transaction and continue matching until you have marked off all items on the bank statement. When the variance under the banking section is 0, click on the Reconcile button to reconcile your trust account, or click Save for Later to save a reconciliation before completion and to be able to return to it later to continue working. If there is a variance, it could be due to the following inconsistencies between your bank statement and your trust account in LEAP. These include differences between the transaction amount recorded on the bank statement and what is in LEAP, trust transactions recorded on the bank statement that were not recorded in LEAP, trust transactions recorded on the bank statement that were entered in LEAP after the statement date, including bank deposit slips. Variances are addressed in the third section, the additions. Additions allow you to add items and adjust the calculated balance as a temporary measure to reconcile the trust account. Additions can be added as either a withdrawal or a deposit. When transactions appear on the bank statement, but they are not on the LEAP reconciliation window, it typically means that they have not been recorded in LEAP for the correct month. We have recommended checking within the matter to confirm that they have been recorded and adding them if they have not been. If they have been recorded but are not in the correct month, you can either add them as an addition and check them off the following month, or reverse the transaction and re-record it for the correct date. If you are reversing the transaction, be sure to backdate the reversal to the date of the initial transaction. When transactions show up in LEAP but not on the bank statement, it usually means that they have not been moved in the bank yet. These transactions should typically be left unchecked until they show up on the bank statement. When it comes to additions, generally, withdrawals that are on the bank statement and are in LEAP, deposits processed in LEAP for a different amount to the bank statement, checks not entered into LEAP, checks processed in LEAP for a different amount from the bank statement, bank charges incorrectly processed to the trust account, payments received not yet recorded in LEAP, bank corrections to any of the above. To enter a new addition within the bank reconciliation window, click New Addition to expand the Addition section. Enter a date for the addition, enter a reason, and enter the amount either under the Withdrawal or Deposit section. The addition can be removed once the backdated transaction appears and can be matched in the trust account reconciliation with the bank. At this point, you may delete the addition from the addition section. Next, we will discuss best practices for trust reconciliations in LEAP. Never place an amount as an addition that is not directly related to an actual transaction on the bank statement to clear a variance. For all transactions missing on either the trust bank statement or on the LEAP transactions report, before recording additions, be sure to identify what these payments are and why they were not recorded on one or the other. Always review the transactions on the trust reconciliation to ensure that any outstanding entries are handled accordingly. Record incoming and outgoing interest payments on the bank statement into an administrative matter in LEAP or as additions on the reconciliation to ensure that interest is reflected accordingly on your trust reconciliation report. When possible, print all trust checks and receipts directly from LEAP. This will mitigate the possibility of mismatching errors due to handwritten transactions. Be sure to run the general and account end-of-month reports after completing the trust reconciliation for the month. If you have recorded a payment in LEAP for the correct month, but it is not showing up on the list of transactions on the trust reconciliation, it is likely that it has not yet been bank deposited. To check, go to the main menu, to the Accounting tab on the left side, select New Bank Deposit on the trust side, and check to see if the transaction shows up here. If it does, select the transaction and enter the date that it was actually deposited. Select Save and Close. When reversing checks that need to be voided or are erroneous transactions within the Trust Funds tab of the matter, be sure to backdate the reversal to match the date of the transaction. This will ensure that it shows up with the transaction on the reconciliation, and you can mark both off. Critical Trust Reconciliation Reports. After completing the LEAP Trust reconciliation, there are a series of reports that need to be run in order to meet the trust accounting requirements. These reports can be found under the main menu, Reports, under the Trust section, under the Trust Accounts End of Months tab. Under this tab, there are three options: the General End of Month, the Account End of Month, and View Previous Trust Accounts End of Month, which all consist of additional reports within them. When you run the General End of Month, this contains the Trust Accounts Audit Report and the Separate Interest-Bearing List of Accounts report. Then we recommend running the Account End of Month report. This contains the Trust Overdrawn Report, the Trust Trial Balance Report, the Trust Journal Report, the Trust Accounts Payments Cash Book, and the Trust Account Receipts Cash Book. When running either of these reports, you will be asked to verify the date and sign and review the reports. You can always go back in and view the previous trust account end of month reports if needed. We have now completed the topics summarized at the beginning of this webinar. You should have a better understanding of the following topics covered: how to record payments in the LEAP Trust tab, how to reverse payments recorded in LEAP, how to complete a trust bank deposit, how to search trust transactions in LEAP, how to complete a trust reconciliation in LEAP, the best practices for a trust reconciliation, and the critical reports to run for a trust reconciliation. Now that we've concluded the presentation, let's open the webinar up for a few questions from our attendees. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, it looks like we have our first question coming in now. The question reads, I have a payment on my bank statement that is not in LEAP. What do I do? If there was activity in your trust account that is not in LEAP, we would recommend you identify the source of the payment. You can then select the Save for Later option on the reconciliation window, record the payment under the appropriate matter, complete the bank statement if necessary, and then reopen the trust reconciliation window and check off the transaction. The next question is, can I make revisions or edits to prior reconciliations completed in LEAP? Once a reconciliation has been finalized in LEAP, it cannot be revised or edited. We recommend ensuring that all of the information is accurate when saving the reconciliation and to always have a partner review your month-end final reconciliation before finalizing it. The next question is, a payment I received was not recorded in the correct month and now it is not showing up on my LEAP reconciliation window. How do I get it to show up? If a payment was recorded in LEAP after the reconciliation period, we recommend reversing the payment and re-entering it for the correct date. If you do not want to reverse it, you can also create an addition as a placeholder until the payment becomes visible on the transactions window. Then the payment can be checked off from the reconciliation and the addition can be removed. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. The last question reads, I recorded a payment in LEAP, but it is not showing up on my bank statement. What do I do with the LEAP payment? If a payment is recorded in LEAP and it is on the list of transactions on the reconciliation, but it is not showing up on the bank statement, that means it was never deposited or withdrawn at the bank itself. If this payment is correct in LEAP, we would recommend completing the transaction at the bank and holding the transaction on the LEAP reconciliation until it shows up on the bank statement and check it off when it does. If the payment was incorrectly recorded in LEAP, we would recommend going to the Matter and reversing the payment. Be sure to backdate the reversal to the date of the transaction so you can check both off on this month's transaction. To conclude this webinar, please make sure that you are regularly reviewing the What's New section in the LEAP Help Center and keep an eye out for invitations to our next webinar, which is typically held the last Thursday of every month. Please make sure to register. For content or knowledge-based help, you may use our knowledge-based articles or LEAP University videos found on the LEAP Help Center at community.leap.us. If you are experiencing a technical issue with LEAP that is not related to the use of the software or understanding of its features, the fastest way to get assistance is to contact our help desk through the Help Center using the live chat on the bottom right hand of the screen. You may also follow us on any of our social media platforms found here or leave a review at one of the sites listed below. That's all for today. Thank you for joining me. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Have a great day.